What is going on? This is MOTOSARGE signing in, and in today's video I'm going to share with you just a little bit on how you can utilize the shutter speed in your camera to start taking better photographs. So let's roll the intro and get on with today's video. All right, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to another video. If you're new to the channel, I bring you along with me as I merge my passions for photography and motorcycles. So if you like anything photography or motorcycle related, please click that like icon, hit that subscribe button, or at it, ring that bell notification to get email alerts when I upload some new content. Let me just get past that car. But in today's video, I wanted to share with you how I've been utilizing shutter, or how I have been managing my shutter speed in order to start getting sharper images. You know, I had a buddy of mine over on Facebook message me asking me how I was able to get shots of my kids on the weekend when they're playing soccer and have them so sharp, because he says he's trying to do the same thing, but the backgrounds are nice and clear, but the movement on the field is kind of blurry. And that all, to me, boils down to how fast the shutter speed is set in your camera. I do a lot of handheld photography. I don't set up a tripod, so a lot of the times I utilize a much faster shutter speed than really I probably would need to, but I want to make sure that there's no motion blur or no distortion due to the shaking of my hand. Now what the shutter speed is how fast the shutter opens and closes in your camera, which is going to allow light to travel through it and hit the sensor and give us our image. Depending on what it is that you're trying to capture will dictate what type of shutter speed you need to have set. Now, if you're taking a picture of something still, you can utilize a slower shutter speed, such as 1/30th of a second or 1/15th of a second, and still have a relatively sharp image. But if you're trying to capture something in motion and freeze that so it looks like it's standing still or really sharp, you're going to need a much faster shutter speed. When I go out and take pictures of my Harley, like I mentioned, I still end up using a fast shutter because I want to avoid the shakiness of my hands. You know, I got 5 kids, like I mentioned, and I survive on coffee and energy drinks, so my hands tend to shake a little more than they used to. So to get around from that and to really make sure I have a sharp image, especially when I'm taking it on my bike, I normally have one 5/100th of a second, 1/800th of a second set on my shutter speed, and then I allow my camera to adjust everything else. Because most of the time, again, my photography is done in the daylight hours, so I don't have to really worry about low light situations where I'm having to stretch out my shutter speed to allow more light to travel through. But I also have like a good rule to follow when you're adjusting your shutter speed, especially if you're doing handheld photography. You know, depending on the length of your lens, your focal length. For example, I'm running 2 kit lenses, an 18 and 55 millimeter, and then a 70 and 300 millimeter. If I'm doing handheld shots, a good rule to follow is if I'm using my 18 to 55 and I have my focal length set at 55 millimeters, then I should have my shutter speed set to no less than 1/50th or 1/60th of a second to eliminate any kind of hand vibrations when I'm taking the picture. Now, if you want to double down on that, just take that and double that. So instead of 1/50th, you want 1/100th of a second if you're using a 55 millimeter lens. But when I get into the 70 to 300 millimeter lens, the reason why I just set my camera to 1/500th or 1/800th of a second, because I adjust my focal length from 70 to 300. So I really want to ensure I have a sharp image. Just take your focal length, which is 50 millimeters, let's say, and just throw a 1 slash in front of it, and that's going to give you your shutter speed. So it really dumbs it down. It makes it simple. Like, oh, okay, if I'm running a 50 millimeter prime lens and I'm out here close to whatever subject I'm capturing and I want to ensure that there's no motion blur or really sharp, throw a 1 and a slash in front of that, and that's what the minimum shutter speed you should have set up for. But when you're doing sports or athletic type shots, I mean, the faster the shutter speed, the better. I've been playing around on the weekends when my son's out playing soccer, and most of the shots I get that are really sharp is anywhere from 1/800th of a second to 1/1200th of a second and higher. and come to post edits and stuff like that, I could really zoom in, and everything about him is sharp. You know, his hair, the ball, the grass blades, and then also I run a lower f-stop number to really get a blurred background, so it just really makes him look even that much sharper. And for what we do, or what I like to do with the photography, is, you know, just get out there and play with it every single day. Play with different settings. I set a low shutter speed and I try to capture shots, and if they come out blurry, I just play more and more with that shutter speed. So like I mentioned, guys, this was going to be a really quick video on shutter speed. I'm not, you know, probably the best to be giving advice because I'm still learning on a daily basis. But this series that I wanted to do on my YouTube channel was for the beginners, for individuals that are wanting to kind of get their hands on their camera more frequently and not be, you know, bombarded with everything about their digital camera, you know, and really to pull them off of auto and get them on a manual setting, because once you do that, you'll notice a huge increase in the quality of your shots. And I mean, the more and more you do it, the easier it's going to be, and then you can start really looking into digging in more and more of what your camera can and cannot do. So if you guys like today's video, please click that like icon, hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, don't forget to ring that bell notification to get email alerts when I upload some new content. So like always, guys, I really appreciate the support. Thanks for tuning in to another video, and this is MOTOSARGE signing out.
Get the rhythm in your leg, and pick them up, and put them down, and dress it right, cover down, and 40 inches, and all around.